Would you be interested in watching a show where a millionaire CEO is forced to live off of the income of their lowest paid staff for a whole month, with no access to any other resources save their own? What do you suppose would take place? First of all, a month is not long enough. With that said, if someone is a CEO or has entrepreneurial skills, drive, determination, they are not likely going to be like the average person. This is probably an unpopular opinion. Everyone can't be a leader. Nor do many people want that responsibility. If you are one, you find ways out of poverty. And without a lifetime of being beaten down by poverty, you won't view the world the same way as someone who knows how to be successful. Everyone is being skeptical, but there's a way to do it. Increase it to 6-12 months. Have a crew watching the house in shifts to make sure they're not breaking rules and getting help from their rich friends and family. Or representative grilling Jamie Dimon about how one of his employees is living in the bare minimum and still nearly 600 in the negative. They should have him live like that employee for 6-12 months. 6-12 months. A month. Knowing you're going back to privilege wouldn't be so hard. In a shitty apartment, starting to look ragged because you can't afford a haircut would hit their ego at that mark. Knowing they're being treated differently by society, and it won't end as soon as you want. That, I'd subscribe and watch a 24-hour live feed. No, because I know that show will be rigged and only made for the entertainment. People really believe that reality shows are improvised and more real. These days, every little aspect is based on some script, and the editing will let us believe it. TV will make us believe they're living poorly, but between the filming, they will still be in their luxury car and sleep in some comfy bed. Rich kids go skint, high as them, and are usually required to do basic tasks such as food shopping for the family, cooking dinner for them and washing up, giving them an understanding of how living with a small amount of. I'd love to watch a show of a wealthy CEO who has to live off disability payments and the medical insurance and benefits that come with it for a year. Housing, not being able to afford networking events or charity work, aka the things their socioeconomic status depends on. Their children's school would change, etc., etc. Will rich people who underpay their staff pay for something that speaks against rich people underpaying their staff? Assuming the show even got made, it would just get turned into a just pull yourselves up by the bootstraps. Anyone can do it with a little hard work sort of situation. No. A month is a trivial amount of time. The CEO could be literally homeless for a month and still not get how hard it is to be poor because they just have to survive for 30 days. It's the difference between a camping trip and being lost in the wilderness. A month isn't nearly long enough for them to experience anything even approximating hardship. They won't have to buy basic necessities like shoes, coats, etc., or have to budget to be able to afford to replace anything vital that has broken down. Morgan Spurlock did this for the inaugural episode of his show following Supersize Me. He and his fiancée had to live with minimum wage jobs and no savings for a month. It became legitimately challenging when one of them got sick unexpectedly. Millionaire CEO to look at the reality and change their perspective. What would happen if the CEOs turned out to have no problem with it? Would Op change his perspective? This can go both ways, you know. The cameras stop you as the person is heading to craft services to get some real food, and heading to their trailer, or a 5-star hotel for a hot shower, and some sleep until it's time to film again. That CEO would end up saying something sappy and inspirational and promise that their eyes has been opened, blah blah blah. And then after a month they'd forget and nothing would change. They'd know that after a month they are back to being rich. So they'd be like, well, I can only buy $50,100 of food a week. That's so crazy, but they wouldn't learn anything. These millionaire CEOs would absolutely have no problem doing this. And then at the end of the show would lecture poor people about how to make ends meet. Only if they were forced to also survive on a starting bank balance of $1,000. No credit cards, past life or anything, just $1,000 with their income, non-liquid assets and credit. And since you said no access to resources except their own cash lying around, easy.